These days, with so much life advice out there, it's kind of hard to know what to actually pay attention to. But if you really want to become the best version of yourself and not damage desks like I did in my 20s, not proud of that, then Stoicism might just be for you. Here's 3 Stoic rules I wish I knew in my 20s. Stoic rule number 1, focus on what you control. Instead of wasting time and energy worrying about what's going to happen, let's focus on where we can actually make a difference. In my mid-20s, I had a mountain of debt to repay from studying abroad. On top of that, I was over 5,000 miles away from my family and girlfriend, and I had 0 friends because all of my university buddies had already returned to their home countries. Eventually, I landed a graduate level job at a large company, basically the cliche of corporate jobs. I spent my days poring over spreadsheets and making projections, obsessing over how long it was going to take me to pay off my debt, constantly worried about being broke for years to come. Eventually, I did pay off my debt, but all that worrying was just wasted time and energy. If I had known to focus on what I controlled, I could have spent that time and energy on myself, on my relationships, on learning new skills, focusing on what actually could make a difference to pay off my debt faster. Basically, I now just try and chill and do as Epictetus said. Make the best use of what's in your power and take the rest as it happens. Stoic rule number 2, listen more than you talk. As a 33-year-old, I'm guilty of this myself sometimes. Epictetus said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. Again, in my mid-20s, I remember I once got so embarrassed by this. At the time, everyone was busy finishing up their degree, preparing for final exams. It was a pretty isolated couple of weeks. Finally, when it was all over, to celebrate, I gathered with a few friends in town. Some of the people there I had only interacted with briefly in the past, and because it had been such an isolated couple of weeks, I just couldn't stop talking. It got to a point where, as I rambled on, one of them stops me and says,
"Okay, you don't have to explain."
That to me was such an embarrassing moment, but at the same time, I'm grateful for it because in that moment I became self-aware. You don't want to be that guy or woman who sits on the conversation and doesn't let anyone else talk. This Stoic rule can help you become a better listener. Everyone's just going to think what a great conversationalist you are when all you really did was just listen. The sad truth is, everyone's just waiting for their turn to speak. Nowadays, what I do when there's a lot in my head and there's nobody that can listen to me, because let's face it, that takes a lot of time and energy for somebody to listen to you, is I grab my journal and I just dump everything that's in my brain into the journal. No correct spelling, no grammar, none of that. I'm not worried about that. All I'm worried about is dumping everything that's in my brain into the journal. Stoic rule number 3, control your emotions. It's a lot easier said than done, but you really don't want to be that emotionally reactive person. You want to be able to make most decisions in your life based on reasoning and not on your emotions. This is especially powerful when it comes to relationships because you don't want to let other people easily provoke you and therefore control you with what they say. I'm not proud of what I did to that desk in my mid-20s. That was an obvious sign of how emotionally reactive I was. It was all triggered by an argument I was having over the phone, and by the time I hung up, I was so angry at myself, I smashed my fist into the desk. Even if it's a cheap IKEA cardboard desk, that's no excuse. Once all the rage was gone, I remember feeling like shit having to go back to IKEA to purchase the desk again. Now, according to Stoicism, here's what you can do instead. We can take the external stimulus and the resulting emotion and place a brief pause in between to act as a filter. That pause is so that we can make a better interpretation of that external stimulus. Here's an example. External event. This person just insulted me by calling me an idiot. Usually, our first impulse here is to react based on our emotions. Maybe I'll tell them that they're an idiot as well. Instead, we make a pause and think, okay, that's their opinion. I'm not actually an idiot. And our emotion is, it's not nice that you called me an idiot, but I'm not going to feel bad because of it. So I will ask in response, why do you think that I'm an idiot? Now, if you're sick and tired of procrastinating and not getting anything done, then this video here can help you understand why and show you the steps that you can take to help you solve it.